Today we're at Calvin College, Grand Rapids, and my guest is Chris Woodruff. Woody, how you doing, sir?
Good, thanks, David.
Just that football game today?
I did.
Yeah.
They squeaked by, but a win's a win.
Go green.
Go white.
Let's talk about Odata.
Odata. It's
Is
not
there an
Irish.
Is there an apostrophe in there?
No, there's no apostrophe. It's not a lucky lad.
All right.
So.
What is it?
Odata stands for Open Data Protocol. So it's a protocol like HTTP and like other protocols that we have in the internet space that allow us to benefit from a common protocol so people can consume data in an easy manner from different platforms.
Okay, is a protocol specifically designed for data? Is that a fair statement?
No, so think of HTTP.
Okay, that's a protocol.
That's
E
a
stands for
protocol.
protocol. Okay.
Yeah, that is a protocol. It's not really data. I guess it's information.
Yep.
But there's other protocols. JPEG is a protocol.
Okay.
So all you have to do is adhere to the protocol. Now the implementation of it can be different. So you can have two different OData feeds that are, say one's produced with .NET using WCF data services, and the other one is, let's say someone created a Java implementation to take Oracle data and spit out a OData feed.
All right.
Don't know if anything like that exists, but hypothetically, let's say that.
Okay.
So those two feeds, when they're consumed by a third-party client that consumes them, wouldn't know the difference.
Okay, so I'm
should know
hearing
the
this,
difference.
and I could replace OData with HTML, and these clients with web browsers, and all those sentences will still be true. If I have something on the server rendering HTML, because HTML is a standard, then it doesn't really matter what my client. It could be Safari running on a Mac. It could be Windows Internet Explorer running on Windows. It could be a phone. It doesn't matter. HTML running over HTTP is essentially technology agnostic. It's just text being streamed down. And this is the same idea,
It's a payload,
right?
yes. It's an information payload that's given out to a client to consume and react to that.
It is a standard, even though didn't Microsoft kind of invent this? Or?
Yeah, and they released it in a open standard license
to the World Wide Web
to the
Consortium?
world. Yes.
Okay.
So they're still the controllers. It's kind of like C#. You know, C# was released to UCLA, the European standard body, some European standard body, but Microsoft still controls the language, but whatever they do to it, it's released back out to this open body.
So if somebody else wanted
knows.
to have another implementation.
Yeah. So Mono.
Right.
I mean, that's how Miguel de Casa created the Mono project, because C# was a open standard.
Right.
And they implemented it differently.
All right, so let's get back to OData.
Yes.
And in fact, so I think I get it. So OData is a way of delivering a payload from a server to a client, really generic content. But you
using
mentioned
other standards too. So let's talk about that.
All right.
So AtomPub.
All right.
AtomPub, you know what AtomPub is?
AtomPub is a data format, kind of like JSON or XML.
So AtomPub, most people know AtomPub as a way to aggregate RSS or aggregate blogs.
Yeah, subscription.
Right. It's a subscription model.
Right.
So when Microsoft started taking a look at what they were producing, they said, and what they wanted to do was to use something that was simple. And they said, well, AtomPub is a feed, and inside there's a collection of entities, an entity more than likely being a blog post.
Okay.
The feed being the blog. So why couldn't we, and you could have multiple entity collections inside AtomPub.
Yep.
So what's that remind you of? That reminds you of a feed as a database, entity collection is a table, and the entities that make up that represent the records in a table.
Sure, I bet a lot of AtomPub solutions were just generated by querying the database originally.
Yeah. So they said, let's just use AtomPub, that standard, inside Open OData protocol,
Oh.
so that people already know, and it's already a known technology. It's already a known standard,
So
and then we can piggyback on.
The AtomPub format is a part of OData.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you did mention something, WCF data services.
Yeah.
What
So when we talk about the protocol of open data, OData for short, it's a protocol. Now, how we implement it can be in many different ways. Like I said, someone could create a Java implementation that could produce an OData feed. In the Microsoft world, .NET world, we have WCF data services, which used to be called ADO.NET Data Services, which used to be called Astoria, Project Astoria.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track of.
Yeah,
this
it's
stuff.
changing names and moving around
Hopefully
in teams.
they're done renaming it.
Yeah, I think they are. So right now it's WCF Data Services, and that is how, in the Microsoft world for .NET, that's the easiest way right now to produce an OData feed. Besides, SharePoint allows you to take SharePoint lists and produce those as OData feeds. There's other places inside the Microsoft stack, like reporting services for SQL Server 2008 R2.
Okay.
Each report can be a OData feed.
Is that just another export, like exporting
Just another,
it to Excel or
it's just
Lily
another,
file?
yeah. And also, if you have SQL Azure, it's a single checkbox and update, and within 10 minutes, you basically have a OData feed for your database in the cloud, for your SQL database in the cloud.
Okay.
So it's all over the place.
All right. That's everything you talked about is on the server side. So if I want to generate generate OData, which would essentially be generating an AtomPub feed.
Yeah.
I've got the option. I can use SharePoint, the tools built into that. I can use that SQL Azure, tools built into that. I can write a WCF data service. That's some code.
Data services project. Yep.
And I think you mentioned one more.
Reporting services.
Reporting services.
SQL Server 2008.
And just publish a reporting services and just inherently be part of that.
Yeah. Each report you'll be able to query a report as a OData feed.
Okay. But what about the client side? So now I'm a client. I'm a web browser. I'm an application. I want to consume.
Yeah. So we've produced an OData feed. So take my example. Take the one that I have out that anyone can go out to, the baseball stats. So are you a baseball fan?
Oh, big time.
So I produced a OData feed that has all baseball stats from 1864 to 2009.
Very cool.
And you can query players, pitchers, teams, how they did, any type of data that you can imagine.
Where's this feed?
It's out at baseball-stats.info/OData/baseballstats.svc.
Okay.
And so the SVC is it's kind of like an ASPX. I mean,
okay.
So that's the service, that's the listener that listens for OData requests.
Okay, it's like a MIME tag.
Yeah. I'm sure you'll put that link in your show notes.
Absolutely.
So,
who holds the record for the most losses by a pitcher?
I don't know.
Maybe
I can query that.
Maybe Cy Young.
We'll go query that on my OData feed.
Right.
So, but I have that. So let's say we wanted to consume that. So let's talk about all the places that we can consume it.
All right.
So naturally we can consume it through .NET, and there's a assembly that we can use that will easily allow us to consume it. There's a assembly called system.data.services.client.
Okay. And that ships with the .NET framework?
No,
or to download
it's
it?
a download. It probably will be in the .NET at some point, if it's not already. It might be in there. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
In there's a class called Data Services Collection that basically you give it a URI, which is a URI to your OData feed.
So we're going to have that SVC
Yes.
URI.
And you can do things like link. You can link on top of OData. So you don't even have to know anything about writing your URIs. You can just link on top. You can insert, update if the OData feed allows it. So that's the other thing. You can create these OData feeds to be read-only, to be, these tables can be inserted, but these tables can't. You can do many different things when you initialize and program the initialization of your
That is all
data
standard
service.
part of the protocol to say, I want to update this record.
It's not
with this
really part of the
information.
protocol, but it's part of the implementation.
I see.
So say I had a bunch of tables in a database, and I had catalog information that I wanted out through my OData feed as
Let's
read
take your
only.
example. I have a pitcher, John Smith. He
Yeah.
plays for the Detroit Tigers,
Yeah.
and I want to update it because he just got traded to Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah.
So I need to update the
If
the
you were
team.
doing real-time stats and every day you were putting new stats
so
into the...
I have a client here that's controlling that, and I want to push that update
Yeah.
back. What do I do?
And so you would go through, you could do that just as a URI and call that across HTTP. Everything is done across HTTP.
Okay.
So in .NET, you can do it with this data services collection object that you initialize and point it to the URI of your own data feed. And other ways, other development platforms, there's other ways of doing it. So we talked about .NET. You can, being that .NET, there's Silverlight implementations for it, so I can build Silverlight and bind Silverlight directly to OData feed using MVVM.
Okay.
I can also consume it from iOS, so for iPhone.
Okay.
There's libraries for Palm OS, there's libraries for Mac, there's libraries for pretty much anything you can think of. People have created libraries to consume OData feeds.
Okay. And all this information travels over HTTP.
Yes.
Is it different if I want to travel over HTTPS, or do you just change the URI?
You just change your URI, and the nice thing is, in the Microsoft world, how you create a WCF data services project is it's a wrapper, it's an ASP.NET project wrapped around this SVC.
Okay.
So for authentication, it's whatever authentication you build in your ASP.NET
I see.
model,
Okay.
membership model.
Anything else that I want to get people
Well,
up and running?
so one other thing. So for power users, so we're talking about developers. So let's talk about power users. Let's talk about citizens. So say you had someone who was a whiz-bang expert in Excel.
Okay.
So, and they wanted to use OData feed. And you didn't want to program, you didn't want to spend your valuable developer time doing something for them, creating some reports or something. Well, in Office 2010, there's a product called Pivot Point, or Power Pivot.
Right.
And Power Pivot can consume OData feeds. And by consuming this OData feed, we can then take it from Power Pivot, bring it into Excel, and build spreadsheets that will show you whatever you want to know through calculations in
Very
Excel.
cool. This reminds me a lot of just the data connections in Excel.
Yeah.
Where you can connect to a SQL Server back.
Yeah,
and
it's
just manipulate
very
it
much
and
like
build,
that. Yeah,
kind of slice and dice. A lot of people
Yes.
use for their BI function. It's just Excel. It's
Yep.
not familiar with it.
yeah.
And now you can use this Atom Pump data the
Yeah.
same way. So
Yep.
stuff. Okay.
So other than that, I mean, you can get more information out at like odata.org, which is the official site for the protocol. There's odataprimer.com, which is a community site. And there's lots of people who blog and do stuff around it.
You've done some shows at Deep Fried Bites on it, haven't you?
Deep Fried Bites. I also have a video podcast called OData Workshop Screencasts.
There's a video podcast devoted
Yeah,
to
mine.
OData?
So
What's
I've only
yours?
got two. I've only got two in
Oh,
there.
well, give me,
But I'm
send me
gonna-
the links. I'll
I'll give you some more.
There are some notes,
next
I
week,
didn't know that.
There's this next week. I'm going to create a one about consuming OData
Okay, yeah.
from .NET and from ASP.NET using JavaScript.
Oh, very nice.
And then in the future, do one how to consume it through Silverlight for Silverlight and Windows Phone 7.
Outstanding. Chris, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Really appreciate your time.
Thank you. my friends are green with envy when I get to use Odata technology.